Whew, that was another powerful episode of Attack on Titan as per usual, and once again I gotta hand it to Isayama, and especially Mappa with how they're going about part 2 of the final season here. With the depiction of war and the visual representation of so much atrocities that are being committed here, and how it's still not trying to paint it as one way is right or wrong or anything like that, but more so, when war is present, everyone suffers in some way. And I think that's what makes the endgame of Attack on Titan so great, is that most authors, they do what most of what Attack on Titan was being presented as, right? You have the walls coming down, Eren Yeager is, loses everything, and that charges the hatred for whoever committed these atrocities. But in the endgame, you really start painting a clearer picture of how each side has their pros and cons throughout their history, and situations shape us. The situations that shaped Eren with these memories after touching Historia's hand has shaped him into thinking that trampling the earth is the only way for his friends to ever have a chance at freedom and happiness. But as we also see from Reiner's perspective, or even Gabby's perspective, right? I mean, taught that they are the devils on the island, but after experiencing the kindness on that island, despite hating Eren herself, she also understands that just because she hates Eren and what he's doing, doesn't mean that she needs to hate these kind-hearted people who have saved her life on more than one occasion. The idea of painting it in such a way, like the first 3 to 5 minutes of this episode, just focusing in on the rumbling and watching Annie learn about the devastating truth of what's going down, really getting the idea that she's no longer, basically hiding away from the truth, blaming others. She understands what she's done, the sin she's committed, but she has a father that she wants to go back to. And to see the buildings destroyed, and it's not just like it was the enemy's buildings, these are the buildings of the people that Eren is saying that he wants to save. And of course, people are always going to make the argument that in war, casualties are inevitable, but it's easy to say that when you're not the person who has to experience those casualties. Because when the rumbling happens and all these rocks are crumbling from that was basically trapping them in the walls, and the Titans are stomping towards their enemy. I mean, those are homes of innocent people who didn't want to get caught up in anything, who just were farmers. And to see the difference of opinion when that scene is it's kind of like a divide of people saying Eren is a monster, he's killing his own people. And then there's other people saying Eren is our savior, casualties are inevitable, and ultimately we're going to be saved because of his actions. It's really easy to say casualties are inevitable when it's not your own family, it's not your own home that you've had your entire life being destroyed and trampled on. But when it is, it's very easy to look at it at face value that it is an atrocity being committed, even if you believe Eren's actions are justifiable, innocent people are being hurt. And that's the interesting thing with Isayama's writing, is how the endgame and the story in general about Attack on Titan is that hate's gonna breed more hate, and that actions have consequences. It's not about did Eren do the right thing or not, or did Reiner do the right thing or not. It's more about looking at the character's circumstances and what they've experienced to shape their current actions, and what people do to either kind of go against that to combat it, or to sit idly by and go back to the life you always wanted. And I think that's what makes a character like Flock so interesting, because on a personal level, I dislike him. I really, really do. But comparing, how much of a hatred he's had for Eren at the beginning to now being arguably one of his most devoted followers, basically kind of keeping shit in order as Eren's stomping off in the distance, to have him as well as Jean, another character who used to hate Eren and then kind of became a good friend of his, conflicting ideals of what can happen when you look at the ends justifying the means in your mind, or does the end not justify the means? Because can you really live with yourself knowing that you had a chance, even if realistically you think you can't stop Eren? Would you be able to look at the devastating impact that he left on your own homeland and imagining what's about to happen to innocent people who never picked up a weapon, who never uttered a racial slur towards Eldians? Can you live with yourself not trying to stop that and trying to find a better way? Or can you just turn the other cheek and live your life? The fact that Isayama and Mappa, the way they're portraying it with the anime, they're not going the route of saying one side's necessarily right or wrong. There's definitely key people throughout history. I think you can definitely look at the king. You can definitely look at places in Marley throughout history and certain generals. But the overall main characters that we focus on in this show, almost everyone's made some poor decision that has either cost people their lives or they were ignorant to the truth. But to see, especially characters like Gabby completely flip their tune after experiencing such brilliant writing from the girl who Sasha saved, and then in return she killed Sasha. Like, that type of hatred should just breed more hatred, but in the face of even more hatred, it's easy to kind of realize that we're not so different all at the same time. And I really love how they really give Annie a focus in this episode, because for the most part, they seemingly adapted like chapter 125 out of 139 in this manga, and I absolutely love seeing Annie just like, you know, she has hardly any strength, because even though she physically didn't age in the crystal, her time limit, did age in terms of her Titan Shifter curse, right? You know, pretty much all of them have very limited time left. But the idea that she may not have physically aged, but she was in a coma, all things considered, a fuzzy dream listening into everyone and seeing how she's done fighting, she's done blaming, she just wants to see her father again. And to see what's about to come to his doorstep, it's pretty frightening because, when you look at Armin's character, right, he's literally so guilt-driven that he thinks Erwin should have been the one to succeed and live, not him. That's a pretty hard thing to have on your shoulders on top of being the person that people are going to look to. Mikasa's doing just that. It used to be a trio, Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. And now Armin's saying, think for your own and do your own thing because I don't have answers. I'm terrified. And the only thing I can think of is to stop Connie from feeding Falco to his mother, and hopefully that will give Gabby our trust, and maybe the Cart Titan, maybe we will have Reiner be able to work with us to maybe stop this atrocity, but even he doesn't believe that's going to happen. You can see the fear in this person's eyes who used to be so cool, calm, and collected, remembering back in season 1, in the first 12 episodes, remember when Eren came into that Titan and everyone was pointing guns. Armin comes to the rescue and de-escalates that situation. That man is not there right now. He's fractured, he's broken, and he doesn't know exactly what to do, just that his conscience doesn't want yet again another kid to die just so a mother can live in the process. It's so brilliantly written, and I absolutely love just seeing the different characters' perspectives of some kind of giving up, others not wanting to give up but recognize that the end is coming near, and just the overall fear of this bleak future. Because, one of my favorite things about reading this when it was initially releasing month by month was thinking about, should Eren stomp on this whole world and he gets out of his Titan, right? What then? Does he put a smile on his face as he gets killed? Do they just forgive and forget? Or does Eren have the heaviest conscience of them all? Like, you don't really know. And it's one of those things that so many situations have led to this moment. And it's not because of Eren necessarily that the rumbling has begun. Eren didn't put those Titans in the walls. The king did, right? There's so many different things. Having this kind of endless cycle of hatred, eventually it comes to the point that when a boy who was given the power of the world on his shoulders sees one way out, we end up in the worst case scenario for war, as so many innocent people are about to be trampled in the process. And that's what makes it so compelling in terms of its writing. And goddamn, Attack on Titan, no matter how many times I reread these chapters or watch the episodes fresh and then rewatch, because I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but usually I watch the newest episodes of Attack on Titan about 3 or 4 times before the newest one comes out, just because I love the show that much, and I just always pick up on new little details, on the visual details, like, oh shit, I didn't even realize how brutal that was in the background, those types of things. But goddamn, this show just, it never fails to impress me, and I'm so excited to see where the remaining, because as it stands, it still looks like it's going to be a 12-episode season, and most likely ending around the 131 mark, just to see how they continue to pace it, because they're pacing it so well, and they're letting these characters shine in these dialogue-heavy episodes, as they also casually kind of fully reveal that Levi and Hanji are about to basically meet up with the enemy, or basically now probably going to be allies because you have a bigger enemy at this point. But then again, there's no reason you take a dead body when you're fleeing into the river. You take a living body because, there's a chance of bringing them back, right? But thoughts and feelings as per usual. What did you think of this incredibly emotionally draining episode of Attack on Titan? The backstories, the revelations, where you think it's going to go next week? Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.